Okay, so good day, students. In this lesson, we will talk about project considerations and the role of an IT project manager. By now, I hope everybody does have the basic idea or knowledge of what an IT project manager is all about. So, in a nutshell, an IT project manager is basically the same as any other project manager. However, this one runs IT projects, and that's it. Okay, so having said that, let's look at the project considerations or knowledge areas. So when we talk about the knowledge areas or considerations, we are mainly referring to describing the key abilities that IT project managers must develop. So when you're running an IT project, you should make sure that you develop these main key areas, all right? Knowledge areas or considerations. Okay, now let's look at these knowledge areas. Number one, we have project scope management. So, project scope management mainly just involves you defining, all right, you defining and managing all the work required to complete the project successfully. By the way, before you start any project, one of your goal is for you to complete that project successfully. So that's why project scope management is one of the most important knowledge area that each IT project manager should acquire. Okay, number two, we have project time management. So, project time management includes estimating how long it will take to complete the work, developing an acceptable project schedule, and ensuring timely completion of the project. Okay, so you really need to be smart when it comes to time management. I mean, of course, you wouldn't want to disappoint your client. You tell your client that the project will finish in 2 months, but it will take you longer for you to finish that project. Your client becomes disappointed, of course. You have to make sure that you're smart when it comes to time management. Okay, number three, we have project cost management. So this mainly just consists of you preparing and managing the budget for the project. This one is also very much important. So you should be able to know how to manage and prepare a budget for that whole entire project. Number four, we have project quality management, which ensures that the project will satisfy the stated or the implied needs for which it was undertaken. All right, so that measures the quality. Okay, number five, we have project human resources management. All right, so this one is more concerned with making effective use of the people involved with the project. So when you are running a project, you should make sure that you get the right team on board. Okay, so if it's an IT project, for instance, to develop an application, you need to make sure that you get the right developers. You need a system analyst. You probably might also need a graphic designer and all that. So you need to make sure that you are able to bring the right crew or the right people aboard. Okay, so number six, we have project communication management. This is mainly just more concerned with making effective use of the people. No, this is mainly just concerned with you involving or generating or collecting or storing project information. All right, so you should be able to whatever communication that you either make with the team or probably with the clients and so on. You should be make sure that you collect that information, you store it, and so on. Okay, then number seven, we have project risk management. Okay, so mainly this one includes you identifying. Okay, you need to make sure that you identify, you analyze, and respond to risks related to that particular project. Number eight, we have project procurement management, which mainly involves acquiring, okay, goods and services for a project from outside the performing organization. So procurement is also very important. Okay, number nine, we have project stakeholder management. Okay, so mainly this involves you acquiring, okay, involves you acquiring or identifying and analyzing stakeholders' needs while managing and controlling their engagement throughout the life of the project. Do not leave out your stakeholders. You need to make sure that you involve them from the beginning of the project until the end of the project. This is very, very much important. Okay. Number 10, we have project integration management, okay, which is over aching functions that affect, okay, and is affected by all the other knowledge areas. So basically, this is just a combination of all the other areas that we have just mentioned here. Okay, so you should be able to make sure that you overache all the functions, okay, yeah, make sure that you overache all the other functions, all the other area functions. Okay, so that is all about project consideration and knowledge area. So if you want to become an IT project manager, you should make sure that you acquire these knowledge areas when you are running an IT project. Okay, look at yourself. Are you able to come up with the scope? Okay, are you smart enough when it comes to probably time estimation or estimating how long it will take to complete the work? Are you able to develop a budget? All right, are you able to bring the right team aboard and all that? Okay, now let's look at the roles of the project manager. So they said you have already read that project managers must work closely with the other stakeholders on a project, especially the sponsors and the project team. That you already know. They are also more effective if they are familiar with the 10 project management knowledge areas and the various tools and techniques related to project management. That's what we have basically spoken about. Experienced project managers, they help project to succeed. That must always be one of your main goal when you run a project, is to make sure that you complete a project successfully. But what do project managers do exactly? What is their role? What skills do they really need to do a good job? All right, so in the next slide, we are going to provide answers to the role of the project manager. Okay, however, they also said if you never become a project manager, you'll probably be part of a certain project team. And it's very much important for team members to help their project managers to run a project successfully. Okay, now let's look at the roles of the project manager. Number one, we have a project manager should be able to understand and document the goals, the objective, and the scopes of the project, and then define the precise scope and specific deliverables required. So that's self-explanatory. All right, number two, they deliver the key project documentation, such as the project definition document, project plan, business case, and issues and risk logs. Okay? Another role is that they manage the stakeholders, listening to their concern and influencing their actions. Number four, they design and develop project plans, like stage plans, okay, exception plans to deal with exceptional circumstances. They identify the key people needed for the delivery of the project. Very important. We have basically spoken about this in the knowledge areas, that you should be able to make sure that you bring the right people on the team and all that. Okay, and bring these people together to form a project team. Another role is that they allocate tasks to team members and ensure that they are completed within the required time frame and to the required quality. Provide leadership, guidance, support, and motivation to your project team. Okay, I mean, trust me, every team members will need to be motivated. So you should be that leader that will be able to motivate their team members. All right, they should be able to run regular project team meetings that define the project, plan its delivery, and then review progress and identify required actions. Another role is that they take responsibility for the risk and issue management at the strategic and tactical level. If something goes wrong, you do not blame anybody. You need to make sure that you take responsibility for anything that goes wrong and immediately come up with an action plan. All right, or work according to the action plan. Of course, I mean, before you start a project, you should already identify certain risks that might occur and all that, and you already come up with a plan. If this happens, this is what I'm going to do, and all that. So you need to be able to apply towards your action plans and all that. They should also be able to manage the day-to-day running of the project, monitor the project, control the performance, taking corrective actions when necessary with delegated authority. Okay? Now remember, as I said before, you make sure that you involve your stakeholders from the beginning of the project and the end of the project. These people need to know exactly what is going on, what is happening, and so on. Okay, also manage the project budget. So that we have already spoken about it. So however, that's another role that an IT project manager should be able to do. Okay, another one. So we quite have a lot. So I decided to put everything there, and it will be up to you to choose which one you might work more with. Another one is to produce regular process reports that shows progress against the current plan. That's very much important. Okay. Um, should be able to communicate or no should be able to layer this word, guys, this word. Okay, you can say it, with related projects to ensure that work is not overlooked or duplicated. That's also very important. Okay. Yes. I know that. I know, right? So the project manager should also be able to attend project board meetings and providing progress updates. So that's basically a repetition of what we have said earlier. So this is also one of the role of the project manager. You need to make sure that you attend all the board meetings, update the stakeholders of what's going on, and show or provide progress updates and all that. They should also be able to agree to the technical and quality aspects of the projects with the appropriate project board members. Manage a change control process to handle requested or required changes to the scope or specification of the project deliverables. That if there's any changes that will happen in the middle while you are running a project, so you should be able to make sure that you manage a change control process. Okay, complete all action sets out in the project closure checklist. Okay, ensure that lessons learned are identified and recorded. So that's also very much important because this lesson learned will help you to run another project or the next project successfully. Okay, so please do not underestimate whatever you go through when you are running a project. Okay, now with all the roles that we have spoken about, now let's try to break it down in different industries. So what if you're an IT project manager for a consulting firm, okay, or a consulting company? What are you supposed to do? Of course, you look at the plans and the schedules. You control activities to fulfill identify objectives or applying to technical and so on. You should be able to coordinate and integrate teams and individual efforts and build positive professional relationships with clients and associates and so on. Okay, so these I'm just breaking it down for you guys. They're all similar. They are basically all similar. You can actually put the other 15 or 16 that we just mentioned and put them all here. Okay, but here I'm just giving you guys a glimpse of what to expect when you're an IT project manager for a certain consulting company. And what if you're an IT project manager for a computer system firm? So you will work independently with established practices to assist in the development and implementation process of the project, involving the departmental vendor relationships and cross-functional teams. What I mean here is that when you're an IT project manager, it doesn't necessarily mean that, okay, let me say that if you do not have programming skills, like you do not know how to program, but at least you have an idea of how people program, or maybe at least you have an idea of at least you must have a little bit knowledge of programming. You understand? You just read about it. Okay, we have different types of programming languages, this and that. So it doesn't mean that if you do not know how to code, then you cannot become an IT project manager. No, you are going to hire the right person that is going to assist in the coding, that is going to code for that project that you are running, and so on. But at least you should be able to understand what the developer is doing, or have an idea of what's going on. Okay, another one should be able to coordinate with internal or external clients to gather business requirements and coordinate project plans, monitor projects from the beginning through the delivery, and ensuring that the completion of the project is on the schedule. Okay, so what if you are an IT project manager for a non-profit consulting firm? So basically, they expect you, these are the responsibilities. Okay, like should be able to do business analysis, requirements gathering, project planning, budget estimating, development, testing, implementation, and working with various resource providers to ensure development is completed in a timely, high quality, and cost effective manner. So, if you look at all these different roles that we have just spoken in different areas or departments or industries and so on, you can basically see that they are almost similar. They are absolutely the same, 100%. They are all similar. Okay, so having said that, all the job description for a project manager can vary by industry and by organization, but most project managers perform similar tasks regardless of these differences. So this is just what I've explained before. Despite of these roles, of course, you might go to a certain company and they'll tell you that, okay, you are expected to do this and this and that. Another different company will tell you that you're expected to do this and this and that. So with all these different roles, by the end of the day, they all perform similar tasks. You are all going to perform similar tasks. Okay? It doesn't matter what type of project, what type of IT project you will be running. Okay, so let's also look at the skills that project managers need in order to be effective. So, number one, you should be a very highly organized person. You should be able to take charge and know how to lead. Very important. Okay, so make sure that you know how to take charge and know how to lead. This is very much important. Please do not be a boss, but rather be a leader. Okay, be an effective communicator. Make sure that you are able to communicate with your stakeholders. Okay, with the team members, with everybody involved in the project. Make sure that you are an effective communicator. Number four, know how and when to negotiate. Very important. So if you realize that for you to buy 10 computers in the shops is probably 40,000, you shouldn't just go, okay, fine, 40,000. No, you should be able to know how to negotiate, and all that. And when to negotiate, of course. If something is on sale, you know already, like, why should I negotiate? That's why they put it on sale. Of course, they wouldn't be open to negotiating and all that. All right, so you should be detail oriented, very important. Okay, should be able to recognize and solve problems quickly. Please, please, please. This is also very important because you are going to encounter quite a lot of problems while you are running your project. So you should be able to recognize them and solve them immediately or quickly. Number seven, possess the necessary technical skills. Just like we're saying, if the project will involve uh, developing an application or a system, it doesn't mean that you need to know how to code from A to Z, but at least just have the basic knowledge or some technical skills of what is happening so you can read about it and all that. Okay, so having said that, guys, so that's the end of our lesson for today. Please complete the quiz and I will see you in our next class. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to drop it down in our question chat box. Thank you so much, guys. Good day.